doing in here, Birdsworth?
Just on my way to the laundry, Miss Bennett.
Well, get moving.
I'm going. See you, Trace?
And you can wipe that look off your face, Morris.
Do you have to be so harsh to everyone?
Harsh? Do you expect to be treated with kid gloves in here?
No, of course not.
I'm only carrying out my duties the way they ought to be carried out. You're going to have to get used to prison officers and their little idiosyncrasies, Morris.
I hope I won't be in here that long.
Oh, I'm not talking about in here. I'm talking about your home life.
What?
Your father's seeing an awful lot of Mrs. Jackson lately. Bit of a shock, I suppose, when you're inside to find your father's having an affair with one of the prison officers.
Oh, come on in, love. We could do with an extra worker.
Judy, I need to talk to you. It's private.
Honey, what's wrong with you? You look sick.
It's Dad. He's having an affair with Mrs. Jackson.
What? Now, who told you that garbage?
Miss Bennett.
Yeah, well, that figures. You don't believe her, do you?
I don't know. All my life I've waited for him to have time for me. I really thought we were getting close. And then he gets involved with some woman and I've forgotten. And she's not just any woman, she's a screw.
Now, honey, don't you think you're jumping the gun a bit? You want to find out the truth. You ring up your father. Then who will you believe, him or her?
He'd never lied to me.
Just take it easy. Liz, you don't think Vera's going to have a sex change operation, do you?
What? Huh? Yeah. No, don't be so stupid.
What is this, tea break or something, is it? Morris, you're either working in here or you're not. Which is it?
I'm just going, Mr. Fletcher.
Good. And perhaps the rest of you can get on with some work, eh? Let's see some action around here.
Have you got the new rosters yet?
No, I'm working on it.
Well, I hope they're an improvement over the last lot. There is a limit to what we can do, you know.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means I've been working double shifts for weeks, and I'm a physical wreck.
I'd say it'd be more than work that's wrecking your health, Miss Bennett. So let's not go blaming the rosters, shall we?
No, good morning, Mr. Fletcher. Am I too early to see Tracy?
No, you're not, Mr. Morris. If you just sign in there, I'll go and get her for you. I'd appreciate it if you keep it brief, Mr. Morris. We're very short-staffed and I've got a lot of work to do.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I'll try. Well, how are you, darling? Tracy, is there something wrong?
Why don't you tell me? I'm stuck in here going stark raving mad while you're outside living it up.
Living it up? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about a certain grey lady with whom you seem to be more than just good friends.
Oh. Yes. As a matter of fact, I have been seeing her. She happens to be a very special person. But I can't understand why you don't approve after all she's done for us.
What's she done, apart from take you away from me when I need you the most?
Don't talk like a child. No one's taken me away from you. I'm here now, aren't I?
Oh, for how long? And when are you seeing her again?
As it happens, we're having lunch later. Tracy, what's wrong?
I'm sick of sharing you. I've done it all my life. So make up your mind. It's either her or me.
Lizzie, will you extract your digit? Person get bored to death waiting for you. Oh, all right, I'll help you.
Oh, Lizzie, you're here. I wasn't sure you'd be back from lunch.
Oh, I wish I hadn't bothered. I got rotten indigestion.
What's up, Dawn? Oh, Davo's taken me to the hospital. She reckons they might be able to get a job for me working with the kids.
Oh, that's lovely, Dawn.
Fantastic. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
Oh, thanks, Jude. I reckon I'll need all the luck I can get.
Rubbish. They'll know a good thing when they see it. And tomorrow I'll get my sentence reduced, and before you know it, we'll be on the outside together.
Oh, Lizzie, do you really think so?
Of course. Good mates must always stick together.
Oh, you're me best mate, Lizzie.
Mrs. Davidson's waiting, Doreen. Make it quick.
Oh, yes, coming. Well, you lot, even if nothing happens, I'll get a few hours holiday from this place.
Good luck, honey.
See you.
Oh, bye.
Face it, Jackson. You've been stood up.
Maybe we should go some other day, Mrs. Davidson. I don't feel so crash hot today.
You're not feeling cold feet at this stage, are you, Doreen?
No, it's just that there's a lot of strangers in a hospital and I'm no good with people. They think I'm weird.
Oh, it's just your imagination.
No, it's not honest. I still get nightmares about the last time I was out. Those people in the factory, they thought I was a freak. I just couldn't stand it again. I'd rather be inside.
If you do get this job, Doreen, and it's still an if, you will be involved with children. Now, they don't think you're weird, do they?
No, I suppose not. Kids really like me.
Exactly, and that's all that counts. Now, come on, or we'll be late.
Mrs. Davidson, do you really think I've got a chance in a place like that?
If I didn't, we wouldn't be going. This could be the start of a whole new life for you, Doreen, and I really believe you can do it.
Thanks, Mrs. Davidson. I reckon if you can believe it, well, then I can too.
Do come in.
Thank you, Dr. Henderson.
Take a seat. So, this is Doreen.
Yes, sir.
Well, have you formed any opinion of my hospital so far?
Oh, it's real big, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it needs a lot of staff to keep the wheels in motion. That's why our nurses' aid program is so important.
Important?
Well, of course, especially in the children's wards. And you know how much attention they need.
Oh, yeah, kids can keep you at it all day if you give them half a chance.
Right. That's why we need aides who can amuse them and at the same time keep an eye on their medical condition and summon a nurse when necessary. Kids need that attention and, well, there just aren't enough trained nurses to go round.
Oh, I'd never thought of it like that before.
Mrs. Davidson tells me you have a real gift.
Oh, no. I just reckon that kids can really tell whether you care about them or not. You can't con them.
My sentiments exactly. Tell me, why do you want to work with children?
Oh, gee, I don't know. I suppose I always took it for granted that I'd have babies of my own one day. I mean, most girls do, don't they? I had a baby once. She was real lovely. I only held her once before I gave her up for adoption. Oh, I loved her. But I just figured that her life would be better without me. I thought I'd have other babies once I got married. But then I had the miscarriage and they told me that I couldn't have any more ever. And I just felt, you know, sort of empty. Sounds a bit silly, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't sound the least bit silly. And you thought you'd fill that emptiness by caring for other people's children.
Well, yeah, sort of. I mean, it doesn't matter whose baby it is. They still all need love, and I've got plenty to spare.
Erica, you were right. This is quite a remarkable young woman.
I thought you'd be impressed.
Well, Doreen, perhaps we'd better find out what you think of us. What say we visit the children's ward?
Oh, that'd be real good, Doctor.
And then you can decide whether you'd really like to work here.
Hi. Oh, what's the matter with you? Come on, honey, what's wrong? Didn't your father explain things to you?
Judy, I just want to be by myself for a while.
Oh. Well, I can understand you wanting to be on your own, but you don't own this cell, you know that? Something we share, okay?
Oh, sure, why not? I seem to share everything. I've shared my father all his life. And now I have to share him with a bloody screw.
Your language is shocking, you know that?
Look, Judy, just don't make fun at me. I'm not in the mood.
Well, neither am I. Listen, if you're going to take all of this out on me, I think you owe it to me to tell me what's wrong. Now, what did he say?
He said he's taking her out to lunch. I mean, I'm stuck in here and he takes her screw out to lunch.
Oh, maybe he likes her.
Well, like her be damned, I'm his daughter.
You realize that he wouldn't have a daughter if it wasn't for Meg Jackson? You understand that, don't you? She saved your life. What do you expect him to do? Send her some sort of thank you note? Lately, Tracy, you've just become a bit of a spoilt brat.
It's just I don't want to share him anymore. I love him, Judy.
I know that, love. But think for a minute. Use your head. Meg did save your life. Now, your father's probably grateful, or maybe he feels sorry for her. It doesn't mean he's going to marry her.
I know. I should have listened to you in the first place, instead of Miss Bennett.
Oh, Vera? You didn't listen to her, did you? She's a bitch. She can't get a man of her own, so she tries to make everyone else unhappy that does. I can just see her now laughing over all the trouble she's caused.
I said such rotten things to him. He was so hurt.
Honey, he loves you. Now, all you have to do is apologize.
How can I? Supposing he doesn't come and see me.
Don't talk rubbish. Look, there are phones in here, aren't there? You're allowed a phone call a week. Why don't you ring him?
Ring him? Oh, Judy, that's a great idea. Thanks for standing by me. You're a real friend.
Well, you know me. You can always lean on me. After all, I'm built like a brick dunny.
Well, you try. You keep going. And I'll come back and look at you in a minute, see what you're doing. How are you going? Oh, I like that building. Who's inside? But it was a wolf or something? And you've got a man.
Gee, are all these little ones sick?
I'm afraid so, but Nurse Benson's marvellous with them. You like her, Doreen. Oh, Nurse Benson?
Yes, Doctor.
This is Mrs. Burns. She's interested in our nurse's aid program. I'd like you to show her around the ward. Let her meet the children.
Oh, if it's no trouble.
I'd be happy to.
And Mrs. Davidson and I have a few things to discuss. Take as much time as you want. We'll wait for you in my office.
All right, Doreen?
Oh, yeah. The kids will keep me company.
Is this your first time in a children's ward?
Oh, yeah, except when I have my tonsils out. Bit nervous, though, in case they don't like me.
I remember that feeling. Oh, they're terrific, and they'll be really excited to see a new face. You ready?
Yeah, here goes.
Children, we have a visitor.
You busy?
I would have thought that was obvious. Some of the things these people write are unbelievable.
Illegible, too, most of it. Oh, Julie, would you try that classic interiors number for me again, please?
Well, I must say, you seem very interested in interior decorating lately. Or is it the decorator that interests you?
Since you're so overworked, Miss Bennett, why don't you conserve your energy by minding your own business? I have enough of this place during the day. What I do outside of it is entirely my own affair.
How's the tea, Erica?
Perfect. It's good to relax with old friends.
I missed you at the opera this year.
Oh, Frank, I only had time to subscribe to one season at the Ballet One Art. It's more relaxing. Besides, I can fantasize about being a great ballerina.
Somehow I can't see you running the prison in a tutu.
Oh, cheek. I'll have you know I did very well in ballet classes until I was about 9. And then the intellectual won out over the physical. Doreen's been gone for quite some time. She must be enjoying herself in there.
Well, I thought she should find out herself if she could cope. A ward full of sick children is far more harrowing than 1 or 2 healthy babies.
Still, she's been gone for quite a while.
Well, maybe we should check, just to see if she's lost her way.
Here comes the wolf. Grrr! And he says, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. And he huffs and he puffs.
She seems
and he
perfectly
blows
at ease
your
with
house
her friend.
all away.
Even more important, they're perfectly at ease with her.
Oh, sorry.
We didn't want to interrupt. It was hard to tell who was having the most fun.
Oh, I reckon I was. They're really great. Simon can't laugh because he's just had his appendix out, but it's all right. Me playing with them, isn't it?
Oh, of course. You handle them very well. I'm most impressed.
Now, we really must be getting back, Doreen.
Oh, but I haven't finished the story yet.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be other times.
Oh, okay. Well, will you kids eat up all your tea and behave yourselves? No. Oh, and I'll see you real soon, won't I? Bye. Bye. And don't you worry, Dr. Henderson. If you give me a job here, I won't let you down.
I'm sure you would. Just let me get things sorted out, and I'll be in touch with Mrs. Davidson soon.
Oh.
Very soon. I promise.
Never fails.
Hello.
Hello. You're a bit late for lunch, aren't you?
Can I come in?
Yes, of course. I'm sorry.
I hope you like Chinese food. I raided the local takeaway. I didn't think you want to cook.
Well, actually,
Oh. Oh, Morris, you've done it again. I should have phoned, I know, but... Well, I needed time to get things into perspective about Tracy.
Bob, will you stop acting as though you have to explain? You're not answerable to me.
But I want to be. I mean, well, I think you have a right to know what's bothering me.
All right. But only if you want to tell me.
Well, Tracy's got herself all upset about us.
Us? But I don't follow.
Well, it seems some charmer at the prison has told her we're having a mad love affair.
You're joking. Well, who on earth would... Vera.
The name did cross my mind, yeah.
Has to be. All the more reason for Tracy to take no notice. Vera tends to go overboard in drawing conclusions about other people's lives. It's frustration, mainly. Probably because she hasn't got much of a life herself, poor thing.
You know, well, I wish I could be that charitable. But our relationship means a lot to me, Meg, and somehow she's cheapened it.
Bob, I know it's hard for you to understand, but Tracy's not thinking clearly right now. Well, prison does that to you. The slightest thing gets blown out of all proportion.
You're right. Tracy needs me, I'm sure, and I don't want to put a war between us, but, well, at the same time, I don't want anything to hurt our relationship.
Don't worry. Nothing will. Oh, well, do you want some more coffee?
That sounds like a subtle hint to leave.
Oh, don't be silly, it's not that late.
Yes, it is. And you need your rest, McGill.
It's been a lovely evening. I'm glad you came.
Well, let's do it again sometime.
I'd like that.
Tomorrow. I'll bring the food.
I'm saving your steak from today's lunch.
Do I have to?
You deserve it.
I'll never be late again. Night, Big. Sleep well.
You too. Good night.
Hello, Meg. It's Vera. Guess what? After all those double shifts, I've actually got an afternoon off. So I thought I'd come round and look after you. Perhaps tidy up. Well, of course not, Meg, but why? Is there anything wrong?
Well, I just rather you didn't, Vera. I'm quite capable of running my own life without any interference.
I was trying to help, not interfere.
But you have been interfering, Vera. And passing judgment on facts you don't know anything about. My life is none of your concern. And I'd appreciate you staying out of it.
I see. It's obvious someone's trying to turn you against me. Well, whatever my faults are, I'm not using you. You'd have to be blind not to see that Morris man is simply buttering you up to make things easier for his daughter.
Look, Vera, I'm sure you mean well. But even if you are right, I've got to sort things out for myself. Well, surely you can understand that. Thanks for the offer. I'll talk to you soon.
Give me those release papers for Birdsworth. She's due in court in an hour.
Here I am. Well, what are we waiting for? I'm ready. Sooner we get at them, the better.
Bob, I wasn't expecting you till later.
This can't wait till later. Meg, can I come in?
Yes, of course. I'm sorry.
Tracy phoned me. She wanted to make sure everything was all right between us. I can't tell you how relieved I am.
Well, I'm glad everything's sorted out for you.
It's very difficult for her in there, Meg. I wish I could find some way of making it easier. But you know, more than I do, the strain that place puts on everybody, including the staff. I mean, why you stick it, I'll never know.
Bob, it just so happens that I like my job, and I'm good at it.
Well, of course you're good at it, but can't you see how concerned I am? You're in danger every minute of the day, Meg. It worries me sick.
Bob, I didn't... You mean you're really worried about my work?
Of course I'm worried. I'd like to get you miles away from that place to somewhere safe. There must be dozens of jobs you could do.
But what about Tracy?
What has Tracy got to do with all this?
Nothing, I guess. I know it sounds crazy, Bob, but I really love that awful place. I'm needed there. And every now and again I can help one of those women. I don't want to leave Wentworth. And I'll never let anyone pressure me into that decision. No matter how much I cared for them.
Meaning me?
Yes.
I don't know why it's always so cold in court. No wonder them judges wear fur coats.
Silence. All stand, please.
Here we go. He looks a nice enough old bloke. What?
Be seated, please. The court is now in session. All persons having business before the court are hereby commanded to give their attendance, and they shall be heard. God save the Queen. The Queen versus Wordsworth.
What a match, eh?
Your Honour, if it please the court, I appear for the Crown. If it please the court, I appear for the appellant.
Thank you, Mr. Baldwin. You may proceed.
If it please the court. The matter before your Honour is the appeal of Elizabeth Josephine Wordsworth against the decision of Mr. Justice Smart. In no way does my client wish to question the court in which the case was heard, but rather we seek to establish our grounds of appeal in terms of the severity of sentence. While refraining from giving a detailed review of the evidence as given in the case, I shall endeavour to establish that the circumstances indicated a significantly reduced culpability on the part of my client, a fact which, in our opinion, was overlooked at the time of sentence.
Oh, Frank, that's wonderful. Doreen will be excited when I tell her the news. Of course. And give my love to Alice, won't you? Goodbye. I've just had a call from Wentworth General Hospital. It appears they'll be employing Doreen as a nursing aide after her release.
Well, I suppose she can't do much harm there.
On the contrary, I think she'll be extremely good. Now, what was it you wanted to see me about?
I want to talk to you about the rosters.
Oh, yes, they're becoming quite a problem, aren't they?
I think it's critical. The amount of overtime and double shifts that people are doing is ridiculous.
Well, I have spoken to the department about it, but there just doesn't seem to be the manpower available.
Well, it's morale and stamina that worries me. I mean, you take a look at Miss Bennett. I think it's beginning to take its toll.
Yes, I agree with you. And even when Mrs. Jackson gets back on duty, she still will only be on light duties. Well, I'll simply have to tackle the department again about it. I'll let you know how I get on. Oh, and would you have Doreen sent to me, please? I'd like to tell her the good news.
Right.
Classic Interiors. Hi, Jim.
I've been trying to reach you for days. Where have you been?
There's a lot happening at the moment. A couple of big jobs.
You okay?
I'm fine. Just overworked, that's all. Jim, I'm going to have to rush off. You were lucky to catch me in.
Well, when can I see you again?
It's a bit hectic now. Could we leave it till later? Look, I must rush. I'll see you later.
Look, before you settle yourself down, would you get Burns from Mrs. Davidson, please?
Now?
Yes, straight away.
In 1967, in the case The Crown versus Hammersley, we have a clear example of diminished responsibility. I cite page 610 from the transcript, in which Mr. Justice Gordon refers to the matter. In his judgment, he quotes this. His Honour quotes this. Where it can be manifestly demonstrated that the motive for an assault...
Excuse me, Your Honour, this isn't what I wanted to hear him saying.
You're not happy with your counsel?
Oh, yeah, he's real good. But I want you to know more about me, not them people he's talking about.
Are you dismissing your counsel?
Oh, no, I'm just trying to help him on.
Mr. Baldwin, your client appears to have taken over your brief. I take it you have no objections?
The ball is in Mrs. Birdsworth's court, as it were.
Indeed. Now then, Mrs. Birdsworth, in what way would you like to assist Mr. Baldwin?
Well, you see, I want you to know that I'm 72. And I got a crook ticker. It could go on me at any time.
I do have documentation.
No, I'm sure that won't be necessary. Go on, Mrs. Birdsworth.
Well, my family's in America. Me little granddaughter Josie's got a bone marrow disease and she had to go to Chicago for treatment.
For how long?
I don't know. But if I've got to do 5 more years, I could be dead before I get out. I don't suppose you know, but I've been in Wentworth for 20 years and I wasn't even guilty. God, 20 rotten years for something I didn't even do, and now I've copped this lot on top of it. I don't want to die in prison. I just want to be with me family. I'm an old woman, Your Honour. God, in another 5 years I'll be 77. Don't you see? Oh, now I'm going to bail it all.
Some water, please, Mr. Thompson.
Your Honour, in view of my client's obvious frailty, might I suggest an adjournment?
No, I'll be all right. I just went funny for a sec. Now let me think, where was I?
Are you sure you want to continue?
Of course I do. I'm not going to let a little turn like that put me off.
Mrs. Birdsworth, I admire your tenacity. However, I have no wish to see you in discomfort. Gentlemen, Mrs. Birdsworth, I have a suggestion to make. Oh, please sit down, Mrs. Birdsworth. With your agreement, Mr. Baldwin, and yours, Mr. Nicholson, I would like to adjourn this hearing to a conference in my chambers.
I have no objection, Your Honour, other than to ask that my client, or should I say my colleague, Mrs. Birdsworth, join us.
Yes, of course. Mr. Nicholson?
No objection, Your Honour.
Fine. Then we shall adjourn to confer in chambers.
Come in. Ah, thank you, Mrs. Carter. Sit down, Doreen. I have some news for you.
About the nursing aid job?
Yes, it is. I presume you still want to work there.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Davidson. I really love those little kids.
Well, Dr. Henderson considers you have quite a skill with small children.
He told you that?
Yes. And what's more, he's prepared to engage you there for a while on a trial basis.
What does that mean?
It simply means that you can decide whether you like the work, and the hospital can decide whether you're suitable.
Oh, I see.
Well, there's no need for you to be nervous. I'm sure you'll do extremely well.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, you're due for release Thursday afternoon. Dr. Henderson will expect you in his office on Friday morning at 9 o'clock.
Oh, well, I'll be there, no worries.
You know, Doreen, I think this will be a whole new start for you.
Oh, don't worry, Mrs. Davidson. I'll be real good for you this time. A bit nervous, though.
Well, there's no need for you to be nervous. You love children, and I'm sure you'll be good with them. If you do have any problems, Dr. Henderson will be only too willing to help you.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I'm sure of it. Now, about accommodation. Are you going to live in your mother's house?
Well, yeah, I reckon I will, although it's an awful lot of house for one person, though.
Well, perhaps you can find someone to share.
I wish it was Lizzie.
Yes, it's hard to leave old friends.
I haven't got any mates on the outside anymore.
Well, you'll make new ones. There'll be lots of girls your age working at the hospital.
Yeah, but what about when they find out about me?
Don't tell them.
Yeah, suppose you're right.
Of course, he's a top sire.
Reserve junior champion at the Royal Easter Show, as I recall.
Well, he was champion material in my view. Still, you can't win them all, can you? We plan to show him again next year, of course.
Senior champion.
Well, why not, eh? Oh, come in, Mr. Nicholson. Mr. Baldwin and I have a mutual interest in Murray Greys.
I'm afraid I don't know much about cattle.
Not your bag, eh? Well, take a seat. Well, an unusual beginning to an appeal, don't you think?
Caught me by surprise, I must say.
Yes, she's a sparky old thing.
I thought they'd pinched all the towels. I never seen one of them things before. Just fancy that. You just press a button and all this hot air comes out.
Well, come in, Mrs. Birdsworth. Have a seat.
Sorry I'm late, but I had to powder my nose. Nice chambers you got here.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Your Excellence, but do you think I could have a little refreshment?
Oh, of course.
Beauty!
Margaret, ask Mrs. Plummer to bring some tea, would you? Well, now that we're all here, let's expedite matters, shall we? While we wait for the tea, maybe you could tell me something of yourself.
What do you want to know?
Well, just tell me what you would have said in the courtroom.
Righto. Well, I was in Wentworth for 20 years, you see. And then they found out I never done nothing.
Ah, yes, the murder charge.
But I got a lot of compo, though.
Yeah, and you were released.
Straight off. But I got lonely on the outside, so I got myself put back in again.
But what about your family?
I never knew I had any.
How do you mean?
Captain Barton, he's a salvo, you know. He found me daughter Marcia, but she wasn't me daughter. And he found me granddaughter Josie, but she's not me granddaughter neither.
You know, I'm not sure that I follow all this.
I adopted them, you see.
Ah.
And a better family you couldn't wish to have.
And they're the ones now in America.
Yeah, for poor little Josie's leg. I don't know how they would have managed if it hadn't been for me compo.
After all those years, to share your precious compensation money is very generous.
Oh, I'd have given Josie my own left leg if it could have helped.
I'm glad you didn't have to.
I would have looked silly standing on one leg like a flaming flagpole.
Oh, tea, everyone?
I kept trying to get back to be with me old mates, but I couldn't.
I remember hearing of it at the time.
Oh, God, it was hard work, all that shoplifting just to get back into Wentworth.
Well. But you're not keen to stay there now.
No, I'd like to be out when little Josie comes home. 18 months would be just about right.
I suggest, Mrs. Birdsworth, we don't actually specify a time.
No, not to worry, Mr. Baldwin. I think Mrs. Birdsworth has stated the case admirably. Mr. Nicholson, I'm anxious to clear up this matter as soon as possible. What have you to say?
Well, Your Honour, quite frankly, and this is off the record, of course, we wouldn't be surprised at a reduced sentence. In fact, it seemed a little unreasonable at the time, given the circumstances of the case and Mrs. Birdsworth herself, of course.
I take it, Mr. Nicholson, then, that you'd have no objection if we returned to court for a decision.
None at all.
Well, this has been most pleasant, don't you think? Mrs. Birdsworth, let's adjourn, shall we?
Hi.
Jim.
I had to see you. I hope you don't mind.
No, of course not. I'm sorry I was so short with you on the phone. It was hopeless trying to be personal long distance.
That's why I'm here.
And everything got so busy all of a sudden.
We've got some sorting out to do.
I know. That's why I didn't want to get involved on the phone.
Well, can we go someplace and talk?
I can't leave the shop. I'm waiting for some quotes.
You know, considering I'm about to invest money in this business, there's a lot of things that I don't know.
You mean financially?
I mean financially, about you, Julian.
Now, just a minute. Don't forget this whole thing started out as a joke, only you took me up on it.
I didn't take it as a joke.
Well, it's beyond a joke now, that's for sure.
Well, you're retracting your offer.
Well, I'm not saying that. I just don't like being attacked, that's all. This business is done brilliantly, and I don't care who knows it. Any extra money would be used to make it do even better, yours or anybody's.
Yeah, all right. I'm sorry. I didn't want to have a row. Let's just forget what I said, eh?
I'm sorry, Jim. I've got a lot on my plate right now. I didn't mean to bite your head off.
You need a break.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, how about dinner tonight, then? I'll find someplace small and cozy.
How about a padded phone box?
Well, maybe not that small. What time will I pick you up?
How about 7? Give me time to rejuvenate.
That's one thing you don't need. I'll see you at 7.
I've got to admit, Chrissy, I'm a bit scared of going out on my own. You know, no Kevin and no Lizzie.
Oh, you'll meet people, though. Some nice uncle snap you up for sure.
Oh, I don't know.
Of course he will. You might catch some doctor's eye at that hospital, eh?
Oh, don't be silly. What doctor would be interested in me? Anyway, they're all married.
That won't stop them.
Doctors aren't like that.
I wouldn't bet on it.
Oh, what if they find out I've got a record?
Well, what about it? Your boss knows, don't he?
Oh, yeah. But Dr. Henderson, he's real nice. I'm looking forward to working with the kids, too. They said I can bath them and dress them and read to them and play with them. And Mrs. Davidson said I was real good playing with the kids.
Yeah, well, look at Elizabeth. She's happy. If I get run over by a truck or something, you can look after her for me.
Oh, yeah. But you're beautiful, aren't you? You're the most beautiful thing in the whole world. Yes, you are.
There's a visitor for you.
Oh, funny. I wasn't expecting no one. Who is it?
I don't know. A man.
Oh, that's a good start. Can you look after her for me, Dor?
Yeah, no worries.
I'm off on a blind date. See ya.
Bye.
Mr. Nicholson, do you wish to address the court?
Your Honour, in the light of consultations in chambers, I feel there's no further need for a submission on behalf of the Crown.
Mr. Baldwin?
I agree with my learned friend, Your Honour. No further submissions.
In view of the evidence before me, I find the penalty imposed on Elizabeth Josephine Birdsworth to be excessive, and hereby order that the sentence be reduced to 18 months. The court shall adjourn sine die.
Who was it? Oh, it was strange. It was some guy I knew years ago. It's funny he even knew I was inside. Here, slip me 20, though. Look. I'm going to buy some woolly singlets. Come on, Elizabeth. Come on. Is that Tracy Bird still on the trolley?
No, she's only on remand. Her case comes up soon, though.
Who's she in with?
Jude.
Well, so who's on the trolley?
Oh, well, I don't know. It was Lizzie yesterday. Why?
Oh, nothing. I'm just curious, aren't I?
Wouldn't like to be in her shoes.
What, Tracy's?
The dope ring after you and guys shooting at you. Not much fun in that.
Oh, she's safe in here, though.
You'd think so, but you never know.
There's no hurry for these. Doreen Burns is due for release next week, so as long as they're ready by Friday.
Like wounded bulls. If I'd been smart, I would have handled my own case 20 years ago. Good day, Mrs. Davidson. It was terrific. We killed him.
I take it the decision went well.
Well, oh, it was perfect.
I am pleased. Mr. Baldwin must have done a good job.
Yeah, but if I hadn't stepped in, things might have been a bit different. Legal Birdsworth, they called me.
Oh, you lent a hand, did you?
Of course I did. I reckon they needed somebody with a bit of experience.
Well, you've had plenty of that. So, what was the decision?
Oh, that judge. He was great. A perfect gentleman. I asked him for 18 months, and that's what I got, on the nose.
You asked him?
Yeah. None of that mucking about with all that legal argy-bargy. I said to him, 18 months, I said, didn't I? She was there. 18 months, I said, and that was it.
Well, I'm glad you had the decision you wanted. Now, you better get changed and I'll deal with the paperwork.
You know what, Mrs. Davidson? I reckon when I get out of here, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to study all them legal books, and I'm going to be a barrister. Good idea, don't you reckon?
Well, that wasn't so hot.
You mean you didn't like it?
No, hot. Curry hot.
Oh. I love curry. Actually, I've been here before. Julian's crazy about papadums.
That doesn't surprise me in the least.
You know, you'd like him if you got to know him better.
Nah, he's not my type.
I mean it. He's a lovely man. He's been very good to me.
Yes, I'm sure he has. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be nasty.
I know. Anyway, let's forget about Julian.
That suits me fine.
I'm glad you came, Jim.
So am I. And I'd like to see you a lot more.
I like that.
And now, desserts?
Yes, please.
We have barfi, ladu, papaya, or gulab jamun. It's very nice. Very nice.
Well, we'd better have the gulab then. Thank you very much. Now, where were we?
You've got a good lawyer, haven't you?
Well, I suppose he is. Dad says he's the best.
There you are, you see.
Lizzie, it isn't as simple as that.
Oh, don't worry. Look at me. I had a good lawyer, but I was an even better one myself, and if a silly old bugger like me can do it, well, anyone can.
I wish I was so sure.
Come on. Keep your chin up. It's no good getting down the dumps now, is it?
I suppose not.
That's the spirit.
Good night, Lizzie.
Good night, love. Here, give me. Testifying you're dead.
Look, you see? They're everywhere. I'll never be safe. I can't stand it anymore. Listen, I can't stand it.
Come in.
Jim. Do you have a bathrobe?
In the wardrobe.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down. But the sun and rain are sharing